Okay, I think it'd be fine to go ahead and start now. Thank you to everyone who's joining today to learn a little bit more about the Washington Semester Program. My name is Julia, and I'm an admissions advisor for the program, and I can answer questions you have today specifically about the program or your application process. If you are totally new and don't know anything about WSP, we are part of American University, and we bring students from around the country and around the world to Washington, D.C. every semester to take courses here and to complete an internship while they're here. And today we're lucky to be joined by one of our current fall students, Franca Lindner, who is from the University of Munich in Germany and who studies American history, culture, and society. I'm just going to ask questions about Franca's experience in the program, but if you have questions throughout, feel free to put them in the chat, or there will be time at the end for you to ask Franca questions specifically about her student experience as someone in the Washington Semester Program. So just to get started, you are an international student from Germany, which is really exciting. And I know that there are all different kinds of opportunities available to you for an abroad experience, or for a work-away experience or something like that. So why did you specifically choose the Washington Semester Program for your abroad semester?
Yeah, so hello everybody. I hope you can hear me well. Um, I'm in the National Portrait Gallery. They have a beautiful indoor space. So the beauty of living in DC. For me, I'm in my master's program, so I'm a little bit of an outlier for this program. There's a lot of undergrads, and this is my third semester on my master's. So for me, it was kind of like deciding, do I want to go into the workforce after? Because in Germany, you usually do bachelor's and master's right after another, or do I want to do a PhD? And what kind of like time did I want to spend in the US? Where did I want to go? And then there were like just a couple of those questions that were quickly answered by the Washington Semester Program, that kind of kept all those questions open for me. So having an internship and the traditional like course experience was kind of what drew me to this. So I had like a double whammy, which meant that I had professional experience and I had the semester abroad in like the traditional sense. So that meant that after my master's, I could go either way. I could go straight into the workforce with like professional experience in the US and a study abroad, but I could also just continue with a PhD. And that kind of outdid a lot of the other programs that were like mainly very theoretical, very interesting for sure. But also I loved that this was just like a one semester and then like all of it is in there. DC, the capital, really that's what drew me too. So I'm an American history scholar, and just there's so much history in the city. It's so fun to explore, and just being here where the decisions are made has been a dream. And then yeah, kind of having the internship part of it as a professional experience, a very different one from Germany, and the courses that are super hands-on. You get to meet so many speakers, and just having that like that network that you're starting to build propel you to a career afterwards, or that you can also like strategically use if you're already thinking about a research question for your PhD. So that was kind of like uniting all of my different choices in one program. So I'm still very open about working or going to a PhD, but I think I'm very set for either. So very happy I chose the program.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it ended up meeting so many of those needs. You touched on so many things that hopefully we'll be able to talk more about in this session. And I feel like double whammy is such a good way of describing it for a lot of students because we, of course, don't want students to completely lose like their student identity and their scholarship and everything like that. But you do get this really sort of unique opportunity to start working if you haven't before, or even if you have, to work here in the US Capitol, which is going to be a unique experience no matter what. So we'll start off kind of by talking about the first part of that double whammy, which is the internship process. And the way that, and excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold a little bit. So sorry if I cough a little
Oh
bit during
no,
this.
get well soon.
Oh my gosh, thanks. It's been forever, so I need to just, yeah.
Oh my God, rest up.
Thank you. But yeah, so the internship is a really big component of this program. And a large part of your time prior to the start of the program is spent working with our internship coach, kind of sending out applications and being collaborative with her, my colleague Karen Carter, and really just trying to land something that will hopefully be really valuable and beneficial to you in your time here. So what was your process of landing a DC internship like? And did you work very much with Karen, my colleague, as you completed that search?
Yeah, so my process was actually quite interesting. So because I was in Germany and was there's like this time difference and just a lot of people have a lot of opinions about how stuff works in the US.
Mhm.
So there was like a bunch of people that were giving me a lot of advice and in applying and like we're doing like my CV way before I would have like needed to do my CV. And it looked very different from the one that AU's template is. So for me, I didn't end up landing an internship through all of those help, but I ended up landing an internship through Karen's help and through especially the virtual, what's it called? Virtual
Our
fair?
database or
No,
oh,
the
virtual
fair.
campus fair.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, so like 100% recommend that. The virtual internship fair was the best thing ever, just as an experience, and because it was super successful for me. So I had landed a couple of internship interviews before, but like not a job, and it was very stressful. And I was like talking with Karen a lot, and Karen was like the sweetest person. She's so encouraging. She's like so on top of her game. Sometimes I would be like, girl, don't work so much. Like she was sending me so many emails and like she's super helpful and just like open to any and every question. But it ended up being the virtual internship fair that really did it for me because it was like you can imagine it like this, like it's a Zoom and you can just go into all these different breakout rooms and you could see like how many people were in those rooms. And that kind of opened up a lot for me to like look at the database for the Zooms and then directly get to converse with them. Because for me, it like a lot of things like from personal experience is like, do I get along well with the people? And sometimes you find that out in an internship interview, and sometimes like it's good to have that first cue. So for that, the fair was just the best because you would just like ride along like the first second realize, oh, this person is amazing, we're gonna get along great, or oh, okay, well, this is not like exactly what I'm looking for, but like super good to know. So I had like talked to a bunch of like history programs and realized that like they weren't looking for master students, which like wasn't apparent from some of the listings. So that was like super helpful information. And then actually by chance, I ended up going into MIT's Zoom. I was like, well, this is like a top school. I don't had no idea like what exactly they were doing in DC.
Yeah.
And also, I thought it was completely out of reach. Like I was going for a lot of the big think tanks, which should have been more out of my reach, like in my mind. But MIT was just like super like top university, and never thought like they would hire me. But I went into the Zoom. I met Helen, best person ever. We just like we got along great from the start. She was like, so like, what's your background? And so the thing about me is I before I studied American history, I studied biochemistry for a little bit, but I didn't
Oh, wow.
finish. Yeah, so I didn't finish that and then transitioned into law and American history. So like my background's very diverse and a lot of employers in Germany don't like that. But she was like, oh, like you have biochemistry and like knowledge, you have like law knowledge, history knowledge. We need you. And I was like, you do? And she was like, yeah, please interview tomorrow. And so like that, like straight from that, I think we just like personally clicked. And then like that night I sent out my writing samples that I had on hand, the amended my CV to include my biochemistry stint. And sent that out, and the next day we had a Zoom, and the end of the week I had a job. So
Wow.
um, it was super quick after that. So I can only like recommend the internship fair. It's like the best thing.
Yeah, no, a lot of our students end up getting their interview offers based on that. It sounds like you killed it when you were talking to the employers.
Thank you.
But it is a really, it can be intimidating because you are, talking to 50 different employers and just popping into a Zoom. But it is such a good way for our students to land, and then for, of course, these organizations to find amazing students to join their organization for the semester. So I'm happy that that was so successful for you. And
Yeah,
the
thanks.
You touched on the next thing that I was going to ask about, which is what you do at your internship at MIT, and maybe some of the stuff that you're learning there as an intern. Yeah, tell us a little bit about MIT's Washington office.
For sure. So they have an amazing office. I'm a little biased. I love it there. They have an office near DuPont. It's a small team of around 6 people, 7 to 8, depending on how many interns they have. And my day to day is very like it's like very educational, the whole internship experience. So you don't need to go in there like super intimidated that you like don't know super much about like the topics,
Mhm.
because the internship is like built in a way that they have like they send you to think tank events, so which was something I wanted to do anyway. So now I'm like it's part of my internship. So like in the start of the week, we have like a staff meeting and an internship discussion in which we like talk about which events are of interest to MIT and to me. And you're like the agency is with you. So like I was like, well, I want to like look into more defense things. I'm very interested in technology, but also like the China relations, which like I love international relations, and they're super interested in all of that. So I just like choose like I keep a monitor of things that are going on in the city, and then I go to those, report back what was said,
Wow.
what's important. And so you get into these rooms with these people that usually like are like deputy secretary of state or something, that are like having this panel discussions, and you're in the room like able to ask questions too. You're encouraged to ask questions. And then on top of that, I do, and we have the internship, the news discussion, which is amazing. I love that. So every week we pick like one news article and a couple of questions, and then we have like everyone in the office join in and discuss those with us. And
Mhm.
that's super like mind opening and eye opening to have like stuff that's happening right now discussed on such a high level from people that have like very in-depth knowledge and just guide you through reading the news and interacting with it. And I feel like I'm always on top when it comes to my news right now. And then right now I'm learning how to write policy. So we're like looking at what's of interest to MIT, of course. What am I interested in? And then at like some kind of policy that's come out, Senate bill, anything that's just floating around or has just recently been released. And then I write my recommendations for MIT. And like the mentoring process is very like very close, very hands-on. Like they check in all the time, and then they correct it, and then you get it back, and then they correct it again. So like you're really learning how to write policy. And then the last part is that I go to a lot of congressional hearings or
Oh,
briefings.
cool.
Yeah, that has been my highlight. Just walking into the Senate, being like, "Yeah, I'm here for a meeting." Um, it's just like an insane feeling. So usually I'm like my supervisor's there, so I don't feel like I'm all alone in these meetings with these like high-ranking people. And they introduce me to people, and it's very, very fun. And then also we have like informational interviews that we do. So like we look at what do we want to be when we grow up, and then have people throughout the city like talk to us about what they do in their jobs and help us interact. So I've talked to like a White House advisor, and that has been mind blowing too. And MIT is like super willing to connect with them and offers like a lot of help and assistance. So I'm very grateful. It's an amazing internship.
Okay, that does sound amazing. It sounds like kind of a best of both worlds situation if you were interested in working at a think tank. And now it sounds like you get to hear from experts from all different kinds of like really cool DC think tanks. And also, what a time to be getting to go to congressional hearings, just being here for a very interesting, if not a little bit fraught time in the US right now. So that sounds so cool. And it sounds like there would be related to my next question, a lot of sort of standout moments. A lot of times a student gets to do something that they've never done before, or, just being here in DC and having access to something like that can almost feel surreal. So has there been like a really big standout moment from your time in the internship so far, or a lesson that you've already taken away? I know the semester isn't over yet, but something that's already happened for you.
Well, so I actually thought about this for a little while, and I can't really pin it down on one thing. I think the Senate was kind of like a starstruck moment. It was like
Yeah.
a call back home, be like, "Hi, I just went to a Senate meeting," and mom be proud of me. But I really like the courses as well, and there were like a bunch of highlights from those.
Mhm.
Um, but in the internship, yeah, I don't know. There were so many like highlights that I couldn't pin it down. So I think I'll go for actually I'll go for being in the White House. That was pretty cool too. So we had a meeting with the White House Office of Technology and Science. And they personally had a bunch of MIT students and me and my co-intern invite us over to the Eisenhower building, which is the big building next to the actual White House,
Mhm.
where like all the magic happens. So all the offices of the staff are in there. And we were like invited in. I was like, I got a stamp that I'm a like foreign national. I needed to be escorted, which was a weird feeling. But we were like in the White House and had like a face-to-face discussion with um, this official that has been there for quite some time. I think he's the deputy director. So like he was on top of a lot of things they did and like made a lot of changes. He was part of creating ARPA-H, which is like a funding agency that's similar to DARPA, and was just getting to talk to him sitting in the White House in a room with this person that was just like there to meet you and the fellow MIT
Yeah.
students was wild. And like getting to ask him all kinds of questions. Um, yeah, I think that and the Senate would be my highlight.
Okay, yeah. No, those would be pretty surreal because it's not every day. Like we're taking, the students to the White House for just a little tour, but it's not every day you actually get to go and meet with someone who wants to hear what you have to say. So that sounds
Yeah, and he
amazing.
came to dinner after. So
Oh my goodness. Wow.
yeah, that was wild.
Well, speaking of the seminars, I guess we'll pivot to the other big part of the program, which is these immersive seminars that we offer. We usually offer about five or six, and our students are typically enrolled in two of them, and they're topic areas are usually related to, DC, poli sci, international affairs, but we also have like a global econ and business track or a criminal legal systems course. So, what's a typical day in one of your seminars like? Which seminars are you enrolled in? What are some of the sites that you've been able to go to, or some of the guest speakers you've been able to hear from?
So the two seminars I have are the criminal legal system that you just mentioned, and I'm in the Great Power competition, which both are just mind-blowingly amazing courses. They're just top shelf, and I would say like a typical day in the life is usually like every week we meet somebody.
Hmm.
And for the great power competition, we usually have like an in-class discussion first. So we meet somewhere in like library or at AU, and we discuss like the readings and the topics beforehand. And then we meet with a speaker. For the criminal legal system, we usually like have a couple of speakers. And sometimes we go to them, sometimes they come to us. But like all of that is just like this the speakers have been mind blowing and just amazing. And so for I would say the criminal legal system, we've talked to, oh, so just today I was at the police department, so we talked to police. We've talked to judges. We were in the district court. We talked to defenders and, no, we talked to prosecutors, and we talked to a judge that pivoted. We talked to the ones doing the um, having a little German issue right now. We talked to the oh yeah, the parole officers, parole, that's what it's called. And we got to talk to a lot of convicted felons, which for me was just something super new and very eye-opening because they were super like very genuine and open and approachable about their experiences, about like stuff they did wrong, stuff like that they're working on bettering, and super open to just have a discussion about what needs to change, what like made them become a felon, like the circumstances. So that has been super eye-opening and just invaluable to be talking to those people. And then in the great power competition, there's been like so many highlights. I think one of the highlights was when we went to the Chinese embassy. That was just phenomenal because they had like 6 diplomats talk to us in the Chinese embassy. So, and we got to ask them all kinds of questions, and it was super interesting, especially like we ended our like great power competition US and China part with that. So like we had a lot of input prior from a lot of like think tanks and different experts. We went to the German Marshall Fund. Went to CNAS. We went to Carnegie, and just a lot of like the top think tanks, and then ending with the Chinese embassy and hearing the other side. I think that's like kind
Yeah.
of the most important thing that I've taken from all these experiences is like this very well-rounded, nuanced view, and hearing it from people working in the field. So that's just been amazing.
Yeah, I feel like you touched on something that I've gathered from the seminars, which is that you really get to hear from, I mean, just with the examples that you shared from the criminal legal systems class, you were hearing from people who I guess are considered to be at the bottom of the totem pole, like the former convicted felons, and then all the way up to judges and police officers, and hearing from everyone at all different levels of, this process in our American society. And I feel like it sounds like all of the seminars really do a good job just because of all the different organizations who work here in DC of offering all of those different sorts of perspectives on any given issue. So I feel like it's really cool that you got to like hear all of those layers. And I know you just mentioned a bunch of incredible site visits and guest speakers, but if you had to choose, what would you say your favorite one has been so far in the semester?
Um, okay, so I would say the favorite, wow, I don't know, the favorite one, CNAS probably. They have a wonderful view of the White House, and the
Oh,
discussion was just absolutely phenomenal. We talked to the CEO of CNAS, whom I'm connected with afterwards, because he's just an incredible person and very knowledgeable. And that like really opened my eyes to a
mhm.
lot of things. And like CNAS is a nonpartisan think tank, but they have like a history of being more on the conservative side. So listening to like their point of view and yeah, it was very nice. And then just casually sitting in a room with the CEO looking at the White House. I think that was pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
casual. Okay, so we're gonna do our last, I guess, little pivot to just talk about your general DC experience. Most students, when they come to the program, live in downtown DC apartment buildings with other Washington semester students. But you aren't required to live in these buildings, and some of our students choose to live on campus or independently in DC. And it sounds like you live a little bit outside of the city in Virginia. What's it like living in DC? I know you're coming from a city, but how is the urban experience here? How is it getting around the city for you? And one more disclaimer, I know that we don't have as sophisticated a transportation system as in Europe. But anything that you would want to add about the DC living?
Well, I think like just living near DC or in DC is super valuable because there's so much stuff you can do and so many places you can go. Like all the Smithsonian's are free. Like I'm literally in the National Portrait Gallery right now. I'm in their beautiful garden, like in the middle of the building, in the middle of the city. Just it's absolutely gorgeous to walk around, see a lot, talk to people. People are super open here. You can just literally have a conversation on the street, which is not the case in Germany usually. So that has been very fun. And commuting from Virginia has really not been that much of a hassle
Good.
um, because of like a lot of the courses have these site visits every week. So usually we meet somewhere downtown. And it's very easy for me to get from Virginia to downtown because you either take the metro or like from Roslyn, and there's
Mhm.
like a bus that goes to the metro, um, which is pretty decent. So I like that bus. It's people have said to me, "Oh, it's not reliable. The bus system is like super bad." But if you like count in a couple of minutes, like plus minus, you're
Mhm.
like it's a very reliable system. You can get from A to
Good.
B. Um, and as soon as you're in Roslyn, like the metro system is just phenomenal. I love it. Like it goes like you can take any metro from Roslyn downtown. There's like three that run, so like every 2 minutes you can take a metro downtown, and it's super quick. Like from Roslyn to Foggy Bottom to Metro Center, Smithsonian, like you're there in a heartbeat. Plus, I got a bike, so from
Oh, nice.
yeah, from Virginia, biking downtown is just beautiful.
Yeah, do you go
100%
across
recommend.
Key Bridge?
Yes, Keybridge is the best one to go
Yeah.
over. And for my internship at DuPont, it's really nice because I go to like through Georgetown every day, and they have like a garage where I can park my bike,
Mhm.
and like driving home during like sunset hour, and you can just like stop at the Georgetown waterfront, go for a little stroll, and then head home. It's just beautiful. Like the quality of life is amazing, and with a bike, we're like a lot of places super like you're super quick to a lot of places.
Mhm.
And especially if there's like something downtown, you'll just like ride along the mall and look at all the monuments and be like, wow, I'm in DC. Like it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I feel like it doesn't really stop feeling like it always feels a little bit like such a wow moment when you're on the mall and when you're like when it's a beautiful day like we've been having recently. Was there anything coming into the city that was really on your bucket list that you wanted to check off that you've been able to, or is there something that you're still hoping to do before you leave?
Ooh, I'm still hoping to go to a lot more museums. I haven't been able to go to many because there's just been like so much to do here. I really want to go to the American Indian Museum. I've been to the African American History Museum, which has been amazing. That was on my bucket list. Looking at all the monuments, I really wanted to go dancing in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and I did that. So
Oh,
100% recommend. They have like bachata nights every now and then. That was on my bucket list. Georgetown for sure was on my bucket list. Love to be in Georgetown. Um, and well, still to do like a couple more museums. And like there's so many monuments and memorials all around the city that I feel like I still need to hit some of those.
wow. Okay, so we have just two final questions. One is, what would you say your favorite memory from the program so far has been? Whether it's been something related to DC or related to your job, what has that moment been?
Well, I think one of my favorite moments are always with like the other students. There's a couple of Norwegians here
Yeah.
in our program right now, and I love the Norwegians. They're amazing. I've never been to like Scandinavia or anything, but I'm for sure going after this. And I just love like hanging out with them, doing stuff. We went for a run, a 5K for like cancer children
Oh,
with cancer, and they closed down like I'm not sure if that's Constitution Avenue or something like the like not parallel but like diagonally going up to the Capitol, and then
no.
we like ran by the Capitol, looped around, ran like and that I think was one of my highlights, just like running with the Norwegians towards the Capitol, like next to the Capitol
Yeah.
on a beautiful sunny day. And then we met my DC bestie. So it was a good day.
What? You met her? Was she running?
Yeah. We
Oh
were
my
on her team, and she made us like she had it on her story, and then we like signed up. And then we met her. We got a picture. Don't know where that picture is. Still looking for it, but
God.
it's on somebody's phone. But that was amazing. So we got to meet like a local DC celebrity and run towards the Capitol, next to the Capitol, and all with my Norwegian friends.
Yeah. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, your DC bestie is like a big DC sort of influencer who shares events. And a lot of people would be like super excited to meet her. So I can't believe you did that. And it's nice.
Yeah.
It's fun having such a big cohort of like Europeans because it sounds like you'll have a place to stay when you visit Scandinavia, when you visit Norway. So
Oh,
um
for sure. And a lot of people coming visiting to Munich. So.
yeah. Okay, so we're going a little bit after 4:30, but one final question is just what would you say Washington semester's impact on your future plans has been, or its impact on you just generally, whether it's related to your professional career, or personally, like as someone who's studying abroad here?
Oh, I would say the impact has been fundamental, really. I've like grown so much, learned so much. I think the most important thing when I went here, I was like, "Oh, I have no idea how to network, and I feel like I'm gonna be like overwhelmed by all the networking." But
Mhm.
I've just been like learning as I go, and I feel like I'm getting the hang of it, and it's a really good feeling to have like confidence in yourself that you know how to handle yourself in like a professional situation, a professional like networking situation. Those always seem very scary to me. But I feel like I've been getting better. There's like I'm meeting so many people. They're all loving to connect. I've gotten like a couple of contacts that I can talk to, like for my master's thesis research that have like insight on it. So, and also just I don't know, just being here has been amazing. The contact with the other Europeans, the other Americans from like all over the country,
Mhm.
with all the different yeah, experiences that they bring to the table. And then I would also say that my internship has really helped me see the value in having like a diverse background. I used to like never tell people that I studied biochemistry would like come up at some point when you meet people like and get to know them well. But now I feel like I'm like not ashamed of like it at all. Like I
Mhm.
bring it up frequently. I'm like this is part of who I am. I love like science and technology and it kind of made me more confident all around in like who I am, where I'm going, and made me look at a couple more other career paths that I hadn't like considered before that weren't like on my mind. Um, yeah, and just like I love it here, and I'm for sure gonna be back at some point. So,
Oh,
um,
good.
Washington semester program has really helped me find a love in DC.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and you also touched on something that I feel like is so valuable for all of our students, which is the networking opportunities here, which I know we haven't really discussed so far in this session, but it really does force you out of your shell. And something that I feel like our students find is that everyone in DC has been in your shoes where they're trying to like get started or learn more or just connect with people, even if they don't know where it'll take them. So I feel like it makes people here very open to talking about their careers and trying to help out people, like pull them up the ladder, which I feel like is nice because they're definitely very open on that front, which is really cool. So thank you so
Yeah,
much. Yeah, for sharing that. Excuse me. So
of
now
course.
we can open things up to questions. I just want to quickly mention that we do have a deadline coming up for the spring application. It's November 15th, so we're a couple of weeks away from that if you're interested in coming in the spring. But now I'll just go ahead and stop the share and see. I think we just lost someone, but just see if anyone has any questions for Franca about the student experience here at Washington Semester. Yes. Okay, it looks like we have one question about, yeah, go ahead and unmute.
Feel free to put on your video if you're comfortable as well.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Is my voice audible or is my voice a bit low? Is fine?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. So one question I had was I was extremely interested in the Washington semester program, and so I'm also an international student. And I'm currently at Knox College, and so first question was that uh, if I'm doing on campus, how if I'm doing the housing thing, then which one's going to be better for me on campus, considering because I have a sort of like a 80%, 90% scholarship here as well at Knox. And then the second question is that if I'm looking for those internships, then uh, let's say so the deadline for the Washington semester is like February 1st, right? So if I want to make sure that I'm able to get the best internship, should I already start talking to people or something, or like what should I do if I want to make sure that I get the best internships that are sort of paid? Because right now I'm basically doing an on-campus job, so that also helps me cover some of my expensive expenses. So if I'm able to get a paid internship in Washington, that would be like good.
Yeah.
What kind of scholarship do you have? Do you, is it like an international scholarship or is it like from your campus?
It's an international scholarship, basically. So they told me that my scholarships will be applied to the Washington semester program as well, because I talked to them because some of the representatives came
Yeah.
to my
Yeah,
campus.
no,
Yeah,
they should be applied. And sorry, would you be interested in coming next fall? Is that what? Or
yeah. My plan is to apply right now and then come in like this fall, so for 2025.
okay. So yeah, I would just say, just so I'll just quickly speak to the housing thing. That's something that um depends on the partnership that we have with your university, with whether or not you would want to live on campus or whether they would be able to fund you living in our turnkey apartment buildings. But that's something that you can work out even after you enroll in the program, because you can just decide to live independently if you'd like, or you can live in our apartment buildings or on campus. It really just depends on what you and your needs are, as well as what your university is willing to cover. So I would just recommend talking to your partner representatives about that. And if you don't know who they are, you can send me an email after this, and I'll just put my email in the chat. But yeah, and then in terms of the internship search process for the fall, I don't know if Franca, if you would want to talk about like when you really started like sending things out, or
Yeah, I feel like it, I wouldn't go too early, but it depends on what internship you want. So if you're like looking at, for example, our foundations that are here, or German foundations, they recruit a year early, but most like local American things are like 1 or 2 months in advance, maybe three. Like let's go to 2 to 3 months in advance, and they will not open their applications any sooner. And for me, like I was applying super early. I was super stressed out about it, and I shouldn't have been stressed out about it. And it was partially way too early. One person told me like DC sometimes has a short attention span, and so it's like not good to be super early about it, because then um yeah, I felt like that wasn't a big like advantage for me. I started like in like somewhere in spring, I think even March, April, and that was way too early. They were still like recruiting for summer. So I for sure not stress myself out about it. But there's like this, I think you can ask Karen or anyone from the program. There's like this window of like 2 to 3 weeks where like most of the internships open, and I would like take those 2 weeks off in some way and just like apply in those 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah, and
Um
I would, oh, sorry to interrupt if you were going to say more.
no, go say more. I would have said something to scholarship.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you're totally right that it depends on the kind of internship you want. A lot of federal organizations have security clearance windows, so if you are looking to do something like that, then that's just something to keep in mind. But if you're looking for something more local, like Franca mentioned, then the application deadlines would be, just really in the months leading up to the start of the program. But I would definitely recommend, because you could start even if you wanted to come this upcoming fall. You could apply now and you could even enroll now, and you could start already working on your resume and on your cover letter and just having everything ready to go for when internship opportunities come your way. And then on the paid front, you can talk to our internship coach about really needing to prioritize a paid internship, and she would make sure to send paid opportunities your way. And that's yet another reason why, you know, just having an awareness early on of like maybe the kinds of things you want to apply to is good, just so you don't miss out on the paid opportunities. But there definitely are paid opportunities in DC. It's not guaranteed, but a lot of our students are able to get a salary or a stipend or something for the work that they do here.
Yeah, one
Yeah, and I
other
would
question.
maybe
Can I ask another question? I'm sorry if I interrupted you. Yeah, so one other question I had was that for your MIT, the internship that you got at MIT, right? So from what I understand is that when you enroll in the program, you sort of like have a virtual internship summit where you can go into different breakout rooms and talk to different people, right? So you're saying that you went into that breakout room and then got that internship while talking to the person who was hiring, basically, right?
yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of our students get their internships, and that usually happens a week or more before the start of the program. So, like for example, our virtual internship fair for the spring is going to be the week before classes start in January, but in the fall, I think it might have been a little bit earlier. So usually it's right before you come to campus and start classes.
And I would maybe add that if you have an international scholarship, you need to be mindful of your visa requirements. Because for me, I also have an international scholarship. I'm on a Fulbright here, and my work permission goes like your work permission goes through your visa. And so you need to coordinate with whoever's issuing your visa to obtain that work permit. And it's good to keep that in mind that if AU is not the issuing party of the visa, then you need to go through another route, and that usually takes more time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so one other thing was that my main priority is basically like number one is basically applying for business slash econ internships related, and then second priority is that let's say if I'm not able to get business slash econ related internship, I'll probably do something in public policy. So is there any advice that both of you would like to give me that I can maybe like do something early on? Because I'm also currently applying for summer internships as well, and I've been able to get one or two. I got one in Santa Monica, yeah, for this summer basically for summer 2025. But like the thing is again, is there anything that I can do as an extra thing maybe that would help me for fall 2025 internship preparation?
Yeah, I would say, and this is something once again, like if you decided you wanted to enroll like soon, you could even talk to our internship coach about, your summer opportunities, even though you're not going to be in WSP at that time necessarily. But I would say, of course, like having a really strong resume and cover letter. But I would say it's a lot about and like number of applications we find for a lot of our students. We typically recommend applying to like 25 or 30 orgs when you're doing your applications, just because especially in the summer, the DC internship scene is really competitive because there are more interns flooding the city. So even though they should absolutely be like quality and everything, it's really important to just apply to wherever you can and see where you can land, because the more you're able to do, the better your odds are. Which maybe is like obvious advice. And of course, once again, they should still be quality applications. But definitely like don't be hesitant about an opportunity. Like I would say if one comes your way, then you can decide like if it's something you would want to do. But Franco, what would you say has helped you?
Well, I would say that maybe what you can do is look at a lot of like your top priority places and just shoot them an email and ask them. Like, because I think that's like a good way to get in contact with them and ask them like, so I'm planning to be there. I would love to like apply to your internship. What are like the most important things you look for? What are like the highest like scoring candidates that you had? What were their qualities? Like, and just like get in touch with them, and then maybe also ask them like when their application window is. I think that's a good like if you're in that position right now to like get those two things united, to like be in contact with the employer and at the same time find out like what your market values can be or what you kind of meant.
Okay, so we're about 15 minutes over, so I think I need to let you all go. And it looks like Camille, the other student who was on, had to leave. But Franca, thank you so much for taking the time today to do this, and thanks Hamza for coming and learning more about the program. We really, really appreciate it, and I hope you continue having a great time here. It's nice to hear that everything's going well.
Of course, thank you so much.
Have a good day, both of you.
Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye.